Hi, this is Chris from Clever Unicorn Games and the Unicorn Collective, back with another episode of Designer Playtesting. Today we are looking at Quests and Cannons by Eric Geller, who is with us today. With me is...
Hello, I'm Ian Brocklebank from the Games People and the Virtual Playtesting Discord network.
Hello, I'm David Digby from David Digby Board Games.
Hello, I'm Patrick, designer of Funky Fruits, armchair gamer, and also James Blunt's younger twin.
Hi, my name is Eric Geller. I'm one of the co-founders of Short Hop Games and co-designer of the game we're playing today, Quests and Cannons.
Tell us about your game, Eric.
All right, Quests and Cannons is a 2 to 6 player competitive sandbox style seafaring exploration and adventure game. Where you're an adventurer sent to fabled islands that have magically risen from the sea, but you are not alone. Uncover map clues, complete quests, upgrade your ship, and trade cannon fire with rival explorers as the fate of your people rests on your shoulders.
How does it work?
So, the object of the game is to bring the most prosperity to your homeland as you're exploring and competing against your rival adventurers in this new island region. So the object, there's 3 victory paths in Quests and Cannons to score prosperity, which is our word for victory points. You have your kind of economic route, which is by completing quests. You have an exploration route, which is by completing and returning map clues to your homeland. And then you have your combat route by attacking other players trying to sink their ships.
So tell us, how does a turn work? How do we go through our turn?
All right. Turn works. Turn, you have 3 action points that you can spend on any of the 3 actions in Quests and Cannons. So those 3 actions are move, interact with the location, or attack other players. Movement's pretty straightforward. You spend an action point to move. You move 1 space in any direction, and then we just have some different terrain that you can move into. Calm Sea looks like the light blue spaces count as 1 space, so it's just an action point to move into it. The Stormy Seas, which look like those stormy rough waves, those count as 2 spaces. So you'd either need 2 action points. Anything that isn't the treacherous, so the ones with the tentacles are treacherous sea, and then these are stormy seas. Anything that isn't a treacherous, stormy, and then these ones over here are impassable terrain, which you can't move into at all. Anything other than those terrain types count as 1 space. So you see.
Who's the one with the big guns?
The big guns.
David.
Quaith Sherbill.
Right,
that's David. He was the one who was talking about doing pull-ups earlier this week.
Oh, is he? Okay, well, it's got to be that one then. This one likes its raw eggs. Right.
Oh, stop snapping together, you stupid things.
Right, I'll have that one then.
Stop shouting at Tabletop Simulator, David.
Well, it needs to learn to do what it's told.
Okay, I'm taking the nice, peaceful Dwunny.
I am Fire a Mistwing.
Ooh. Fire a Mistwing.
That captain might have the one ability right now that might be on a little bit more powerful side, but we'll see. We'll see what you guys think.
Probably a good choice then.
So I get an extra sail, right?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, so normally sails can only be used as part of a move action, so you would have had to spend an action point to move first. Fire Mistwing lets you use sails as free movement.
Oh, okay. So I don't even have to use an action point to move. I can get 2 movement
That's right.
by using both my sails.
Exactly. So yeah, she's really mobile. Usually gets the most out of using your sails to go anywhere on the board.
She gets about of it. Yeah.
So one thing we didn't ask is how does it work? I mean, when we do, is our team moving so do I go and then Pat goes and that's our team done, and then Ian and David go and then they're done?
Alternates, so no team plays twice in a row. the team that goes that picked captains last goes first.
I think that was
So I don't.
us. So shall I go?
Well, we just did it by ball, didn't we? So, but yeah, I don't think it matters.
I think they'd chosen elves before I got to choose Dwunnies. So I go first. So my first action, I'm going to sail to that island. Then I presume I then flip over that token. I get to look and see what it is. It's a loot token. Do I take that and put it on my ship?
Not yet. So you get a coin. You get a coin for being the first to explore the island. So
Right.
you grab one of these one-piece coins and put it onto your player board. And then
Okay.
for moving to the island, you get to look at 3 quest cards, and then you can
Right.
pick up to 3. Typically, when you first look at quest cards, since most of the board is hidden, and you don't know where resources are located, you pick one quest card that you think that you
Closest.
could.
And then in one space.
And then you'd have
So I either
one
take
action
loot.
point and your sail left.
I either take loot or I could sail to this next island.
That's right. Yeah. So you could go to Condor's Flight, or if you don't spend an action point here, you could go to Staghorn Reef over here using the rest of your action points.
Okay, right. So let us sands. Let us hope there's something good then. Right.
Metal. For somebody
Ooh.
that likes guns.
There we go.
Yeah, that's good first turn.
Heavy metal. Right. So now I've got 2 action points left. Yeah. So done that.
You can hold. One action point allows you to pick up to your available cargo slot worth of that resource. So you could hold. Reasonably, it makes sense that you can just fill up your cargo slot, and then as you collect more resources, you can just freely replace them. That's how the rules work.
So I may as well pick 2 metal up.
Right.
All one action. Now I can interact here to take 1 lumber.
You can actually pick up to 3 lumber.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm choosing to take 1.
Right.
Would you believe it? There we go.
And then a second move action with me sail. Gets me over here.
Oh,
Flips that.
canvas.
And your ship's fallen over, which means you've sunk.
Yep. That was flipping a new token, so I gain a coin, and I'm ending an action on an island, so I can take quest. Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to flip a sail. Ooh.
Oh.
So the map clue and the loot card resource or the feature tokens work a little differently than the resource ones. When you spend an action point to interact with the loot or the map clue, those feature tokens actually are removed from the board. They're not renewable resources like the 5 resource tokens are. So if you spend an action point to pick up a map clue, you remove that map clue token from the board, and then you draw the top map clue. For a loot card, for the loot feature token, you'd also spend an action point, remove the loot token from the board, and then you look at, anytime you look at loot cards, you look at 3 and you pick 1 to add to your hand.
Oh, so you can only ever get. Do any other map clues get put out at any point, or is that it? There's only the amount that there are tokens.
So there's at the trading post, you can bring spice and 3 coins and trade for a map clue there.
Okay.
So that's the most reliable way of getting map clues. And then there's also there's several loot cards that you can use, one-time use loot cards that will allow you to draw a map clue as well.
Oh, they've started winning, Patrick. We need to.
Oh,
You need to go and start shooting cannons at them.
Yeah, full steam ahead, full sail ahead.
You are my fire and forget missile.
1 hit wonder. There we go.
You go sink them, and I'll win the game for us.
That's normally how it works.
Okay, I am going to flip 1 sail to go into the Wiggly Wiggly. Hopefully do better than David did. Nope. Could I have a damage thing? Where are they?
Yep, they're over in the corner here.
Then I will spend a canvas and 3 money to get another sail.
Nice.
And that is only 1 action so far.
Hmm.
So I will use my 3rd sail.
There you go. You've got a few sails, haven't you? Right.
And I can use them without using actions as well.
Wow.
Yeah, super solid.
Yeah, in that case, I'm going to sail through the trading post and go to Triton's Trumpet using my sail.
Yep.
Gives me another coin.
Triton's Trumpet. Oh,
And is that lumber?
classic, that one.
Lumber? Who needs lumber? Oh, hang on. No, I don't. No, you just told me. Forget that. I didn't want to do that. That wasn't lumber. No one saw that. I'm going to the trading post.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, I've just taken the gem, haven't I? I forgot. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking the gem so I get a loot card. So give me my loot card.
So
I'm
yeah,
going to
you
use the
actually have to
sails.
spend it.
Oh, so I can't actually get to the trading post because I can only use my sail with the movement.
So yeah, you can get to the trading post with your last action point, but then you have
But
to wait
then
until
I've
next
wasted
turn.
my sail.
Well, no, because it comes
Okay.
back for your
Yeah,
next
you have-
turn.
Comes back to you, yeah.
Yeah, you just haven't utilized it. So yeah, sometimes that happens.
Have I got my gem?
What
What I
Yeah.
suggest now, Patrick, is literally you just steam straight for one of them. I don't care which one, and just sink them just for fun.
Yeah, just for the banter.
That
yeah,
might.
I mean, yeah, similar to Ian's comment earlier, it's just feeling a little bit like a slow grind at the moment. Even when you start upgrading your ships, you just don't seem to be getting an awful lot done each turn. I don't know whether that's going to improve over the course of the game, but at the moment, that it does feel like you're sort of, just doing one thing, but you're having to use 3 actions to try and do one thing all the time. So
Yeah, I can see it getting better when people know the rules and turns get quicker. I mean, my turns now, I know what I'm doing. So my turn's done in like a minute. It's,
yeah, I'm not criticising downtime or anything like that. I'm just saying that the general feel at the moment is that every turn you get one thing done, and you kind of feel, well, if I've got 3 actions, I should be getting more than one thing done.
There we go. So what I am going to do, I'm going to flip a sail.
Playing 2.
And go to here.
Is there a prosperity target we're trying to hit?
20, I think. Is it?
Yeah, 20 for 2v2.
We combine. Yeah, obviously. It's
Yeah,
combined.
combined.
Again, the Kraken hurts me. Stupid Kraken.
Well, you're good playing with Krakens, Chris. I mean, it is uncharted waters, isn't it?
Then I am going to go. I'm going to spend 2 sails plus my action to go to Nautilus Shore, and this seems like the luckiest map clue ever. So I've got Nautilus Shore, and then my last action will be to.
Yeah, that's.
So you actually, when you
Okay.
complete a map clue, you draw a new map clue as well.
Oh.
Actually, Chris, I hadn't seen that, and I saw what you put in chat, and it kind of makes sense now. I don't know why I hadn't seen it.
But is it? What do I have to use an action to deliver it home?
No, so you can put this one off to the side to show that it was returned. So then you get two prosperity. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to start moving for a change. And I'm going to start moving in this direction. So that's 1. Oh, do I go to Condor's Flight? Oh, decisions. Right, I'm going to go to Condor's Flight then, and then for the third thing to interact with it. Now, if I use my sail, can I?
Then you have 2 action points left.
Yeah,
using your sail to get there. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Makes sense, doesn't it? Right. Loot. So I've discovered it. So I get a coin. Yeah.
Right.
I will interact with that loot.
that was all one action. My second action moves me into the trading post, and my third action exchanges 2 lumber for a canvas.
Where the flippy noodle is Wind Shear Retreat?
Wind Shear Retreat is this outpost over here.
Oh, I was there.
Wah,
Damn
wah.
it! I had
Whichever
everything I
quest is-
needed. Yeah,
Oh, damn.
Oh no.
I was looking for it on the islands.
Yeah, so
Oh, well.
the delivering to quests are mostly to the outposts, some to the starting spaces. You don't ever deliver resources to specific islands.
Use 2 action points to get to there. At 3 sails. Ah! And then my last one will be to... Oh, get me another damage, please. Have you done it? Yeah, excellent. Nope.
Just doing that now.
And then I will fulfill a quest that I could have fulfilled 3 turns ago.
That is sad.
Better late than never.
That gets us 3 prosperity and a loot and 2 coins. And then I get a loot. Does that mean I just take 1 loot, or do I get to pick?
Get to look at 3 and pick 1. Thinking maybe having an icon that's like maybe like an eye and like an eyeball with 3 next to it, and then a hand with 1, just to show that the view 3 pick 1 mechanic.
That'd be good.
David, I'm guessing you don't need lumber.
Yes, I need everything I've got.
Yeah, but what I'm meaning is because I'm sat on the island with lumber, I'm coming back your way.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you can pretty much do what you like now.
Okay. Is it my turn?
Yep.
Yep, it's my turn. Okay, so I'm going to move 2 to the Kraken. I'm going to roll the dice of fate. So let's just press 6 instead of rolling it, and no one will notice.
Aha.
1. Okay, so what happens? I stay there, or I?
So yeah, so if you use an action point and a sail to get there, which you could have, or if you spend 2 action points, that's fine as well.
Yeah, I use the sail.
Okay. So now you take a point of damage. So one of these hull damage tokens goes over one of the hearts on your captain, and then it halts that movement, but you still have 2 action points left.
2 actions. Okay, so I basically missed out on the extra movement, but
that's right.
So then I'm going to go there, and I'm going to load up on spice.
Nice. And spices over here.
Yep. Okay, and that's me, isn't it? That was 3 actions, including a sail. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back in the bag. Okay, those 2. Okay, turn.
You know what I might try, and I don't know if you've tried this already, but maybe if ships had 2 movement points as standard with 1 action point. So if you get 2 points as standard, and then you can add the sails on just to get people around the board a bit quicker.
So would you say do just a standard 2 movement each turn?
Yeah, to me that would probably
like
alleviate.
apart from action points.
Oh well, yeah, that could move
doesn't
as well.
require-
You could have a move separate and then have the action points to do
Yeah.
other things. But again,
'Cause
what do you think,
I
David?
think
Oh. Condo.
that's a pretty solid
We
idea.
are
I mean, if
assiduously
you
writing notes because that's what you told us to do, Chris.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not-
yeah. Sorry.
I'm not getting where I want to get to in the turn that I can with the moves, and I don't know. I think maybe that's an element of it is it's slightly restricted the movement, so I can't necessarily get to where I want to get to. But obviously I can't
Yeah.
do that now because we're we're working
As
against
I've just said to Ian in our team chat, my whole next turn is movement.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing because I'm 4 spaces away from where I need to be.
I think there's probably a few too many stormy seas as well. There's no clear
That could
route.
be a fair-
You can't take. We can take a long route. Well, no, in a lot of places you can't take a long route to get somewhere. So that's what you need. You need to have obviously a long route with no risk, so people can get round without having to spend 17 movement points or get eaten by a kraken. But again, I've told these guys to write notes and
That's
say it at the end, so I'm already
no,
breaking my own
that's something
rules,
to
so I
look
will
at.
shut up.
Yeah. So Chris, I'll just try to explain my dilemma on the old team chat. But so that's I need to okay. Well, it kind of affects what you end up doing on your go, doesn't it? Because of the restrictions on the movement through these stormy seas, etc. Well,
Yeah,
sorry.
while we're on it with just this brief conversation, I think you've got a solid game that's just hampered by the movement mechanics at the moment. I think there's a lot in here to like, and I'm enjoying thinking and planning, but it is just taking too long for anybody to get anywhere to do the things that they need to do.
Yeah.
No, I can see where that happens, and definitely the note on the stormy seas. We've considered dropping the number of stormy seas on a board, and obviously with customized layouts, you can put a bit less stormy seas on the board that way. This one happened to have I guess a bit more, and especially blocking most of the outposts. You have to go through a stormy sea at some point to get to any of the outposts. Although there are clear paths between. So there's this top path that you'll see here that's all calm seas, and then this bottom path of calm seas in front of Scrollbound. But I can see the points on movement.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, it's just for mine then. I'm going to go to the honeycomb mile, which involves flipping a sail. So we'll pretend that I'll flip that because it's so that's fine.
Having the arrangement that you have with the stormy seas in the middle sort of creates like a mountain, where it's actually relatively easy to avoid someone who's got a lot more cannons than you have, because they can't just zip across the board using lots of movement. And so we can dance around the edges, which is where most of the good stuff is. And even if they commit and sail halfway through the stormy seas in one direction, it's going to be relatively easy to escape from them by skirting around the side.
That's the thing, I think, because that's why we haven't had the combat element yet, which I think creates some of the tension and the excitement.
So maybe that's more of maybe that's more a critique of this layout than I would be nice to try a different layout. Obviously not today, but
just flip some now if you can instantly do it. A playtest.
No, unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
these boards aren't. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say a playtest that I have no problem with changing the rules of a game halfway through a playtest. And if that instantly changes something, then that's great. I mean, obviously, we're not playing the full game. It may end up being a little bit unfair, but if it immediately changes the feel of the game, then we've learned something.
I agree with that. If you had some tiles, because ideally for these playtests, you do want to have, so even though this is a set board right now, you probably want to have some little tiles made up of all these different things, so that
Yeah,
you
I
can
would.
just on the fly just cover these up with new tiles just to say, to test new things. Saving
What
you
if it-
having to play through a whole game before if you find something that's broken earlier on, you don't want to have to
That
play through a
actually
whole
wouldn't
game to get.
be. That's a good point, and it wouldn't be hard to just throw in tiles that could be laid on top and then locked in place, especially on Tabletop Simulator, and then you just hot fix the layout.
What if we change the rule then with the movement that you suggested a moment ago? Was it Chris or you? We suggested it. Oh, it's 2 movements and then
I
do
think
your
that's too much. I think you need to
Yeah.
focus on one thing and then work through that before you
I-
start throwing other things in. And we don't know if you remove some of the stormy seas, that might just fix the issue with movement. I mean, I think you're still going to be you're still going to want to do more movement in the turn than what we can do at the moment. But without the stormy seas being removed, we wouldn't know.
So
Okay.
were you suggesting an action point moves you 2 spaces instead of 1?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just up
Yeah.
the amount of movement you can move, just to give you a little bit of a boost.
I mean, I'd be down for trying that out for the rest of the game and see what happens. If you guys
One
want
of
to
the
try
things
that.
one of the things that wouldn't change it as much, but would be, one step towards that, would be allow a sail action just as an action on its own, so that you never waste your sail. Basically, your sail can just be used as an action point, but it can only be used
That's
for
Chris's
movement.
special ability, which is why Chris has been able to
Yeah,
do
so that's
twice as much as anyone else.
Oh, well, that and skill.
Oh, nautical skills, is it? Yeah.
No, but I will admit that makes I think that's why I'm probably having a bit more fun here, is because that ability for me to just use my sails, it just means I can move around a lot quicker, and it makes me doing my stuff. Even when I forgot to do that delivery, I've still managed to get back there in one turn just from using
Yeah.
those sails. So that's made it that my job is a
Yeah.
lot easier moving around,
I mean,
which is something you might want to just take that away as a skill for me and just make that the same for everyone. That sails are
Said
something
that
they
at the
can use
beginning.
as a bonus.
He
Yeah,
said
no,
that at the beginning.
I know.
He said that it was particularly good,
Yeah, I'm not arguing with that. I'm
and
just
yeah, and
So we've
I'm
actually-
wondering whether or not we should all get it, and then everyone's improved by the same amount. It just sort of speeds the
So
game
there's-
along and makes it more fun for everyone.
it's that would be a good thing to try out. The only thing that what we've been playing around with, especially with the sails and movement, is that putting too much weight on how strong sails are kind of pushes them to being like the meta upgrade. It's like the point of the game is to get sails, and then you can do the most. So we've put in some work trying to balance out the other upgrades to being as useful. But where I'm leaning towards, action point to move 2 spaces might be the better option, is that it's something shared by every player, and sales are just additional
But is
additional
it
movement
because if you
there.
think about it, the sails don't directly get you victory points, whereas the cannons and the cargo bays are more likely to get you victory points than the amount you can move.
Well, see, the more you move means the more locations that you're getting to on a turn, so it all equates to scoring points. So holding more resources at one time will equate to turning in more quests at the same time. Moving more on a turn ultimately means that you're completing things faster, so you're getting more points. Where sales kind of become this overarching useful upgrade is that movement is used for both delivering quests, getting places more quickly on each turn, and also being able to catch up to people and get to the same space to fire cannons. So then sales then become this upgrade that is
But that's
useful
relative.
for everything.
That's relative to where the location that you need to go is compared to you. If it's right next to you, it doesn't matter how many sails you have.
Certainly, and I mean, there's some diminishing returns with sales as you run up on stormy seas. Like, you eventually won't be able to use all your sails because you can't can't use them all there. But that's something that we've tried to balance, so that it wasn't just, oh, whoever gets the most sails wins. So
Have you finished,
that's kind of
Patrick?
where.
I mean, guys, if you want to do your
Yeah,
discussions
yeah,
now, we can do it now.
That's
I mean,
why.
we're at the 2 hour mark, and
Yeah.
we seem to have diverged into discussing things anyway. So
Yeah, it makes sense. That's what I'm thinking. If we have the discussion now, and get any issues that we may have found in it, which we have now with quite a few, just on the movement side, anyway. I mean, as I said, I was enjoying it, but I think I was enjoying it more because of my ability to just use my sails and move quicker. But as a game, I mean, I would play this again with with this race, but I can see how very frustrating it is for people that have to use their actions to do the movement and the sails, trying to get from one place to another. So I can feel from your guys' perspective.
So, can I suggest something significantly more radical? I would look at the possibility of completely rebuilding how movement works,
Okay.
and looking in terms of creating a sort of statistic for each ship that represents its movement speed, and then each an action point is still movement, but the variation of how far you can move is determined by what you've done to your ship.
Right,
So
like
the more
a speed stat.
yeah, so the more cannons you've got and the more cargo you're holding, the slower you get. And the more sails you've got, the faster you get. And you're constantly balancing a speed stat. Now, what that allows you to do is that Pat, who is trying to sail around the ocean as quickly as possible and sink mine and Ian's ships, well, he's got to balance I can only have so many cannons because it's going to slow me down, and then therefore I need the sails to speed me back up again. I've got the situation where I'm trying to carry as many goods as possible, which is going to make me a floating target because I move so slowly. So it's, do I do lots of short, quick trips with carrying less stuff, or do I carry more stuff and try and do one long trip? And Ian then has to, become my guards to be able to carry all the goods around. I think it just adds a lot more to it, and it gives the players agency over that movement. So if a player is quite happy trudging about in a little triangle, because what I was gradually going to work towards was picking up quests that involved lumber, canvas, and possibly spices, and just literally sitting in this corner and doing it, because metal is such a long way away for me to go and get, that it just feels like a complete waste of about 5 turns trying to get over there. So it was just going to be building up a tiny little corner and just trudging about. If you can build that sort of engine quickly, then that's quite a satisfying thing to do, and you feel like you're achieving something. But to be an hour in or whatever it is to gameplay, and me and Ian between us have scored 1 point. Yes, it's going to accelerate, but so far it doesn't feel like we're achieving an awful lot. And I think we've identified that the movement is the large sticking point. So I would look to not make a subtle change. I'd look to rip it apart and rebuild it completely.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. That was a great way of thinking about it as well. Having having the weight of your cargo to actually affect the speed of your ship is, that's as thematic as you can get, and that means if you're going to risk getting that extra cargo, that means you're going to risk the ability for Patrick and his 3 or 4 cannons to then catch up with you, sink you, and take the prosperity.
Yeah, because I was.
So are you saying as you get more cargo slots, it reduces your speed, or as you hold more actual cargo?
Actual cargo.
Okay, actual cargo.
You need a sliding scale of your ship speed that starts in a certain place. Your sails increase your ship speed, and your adding cannons or cargo reduces your ship speed.
Weight, isn't it? It's actual weight on the ship, so it's thematic. It's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of the mechanic.
Have you played Eclipse, Eric?
I haven't.
Yeah, Eclipse is, it's a 4X space exploration, but one of the best bits about Eclipse is the fact that you design you're designing your spaceships, and you can choose to make them fast, guerrilla fighters, or heavy tanks that move slowly but hit hard. That's the bit I really like about it.
Or fill them with missiles and cheat your way to victory.
Yeah, it's not cheating. That's a perfectly legitimate tactic.
It's a well-known cheat.
How about Seafall? Have you played Seafall? Eric?
haven't played Seafall. There's
Okay,
way too
I
many
would
games.
say, yeah, you probably should get hold of a copy of Seafall because you can get it for a song. And even if you just wanted to use it to put, I don't know whether you've already got your ships, but it comes with 10 sailing ship models. And
Oh,
in the
cool.
UK now, you can pick it up for about 20 quid.
Yeah, it was
Awesome.
75 on release, but it was so polarizing, and most people tend to not like it because I think it was called a bit trudging, wasn't it? Or as well, people could run away with the lead, and people get left behind quite easily with it. But it is a sandbox tall ships game, so it's a perfect piece of research, especially because now you can get it for 20% of the price on how they did their version of a sandbox.
The trouble with Seafall was it was a legacy game, and so to get to this point in the game took 6
Okay.
plays of 2 hours each, rather than
Oh, wow.
rather than an hour
Wow.
of.
Yeah, that's a lot of game time.
But to do a bit of a read
I-
up, and as I say, for prototypes, it might well be worth looking at, if just for your little plastic sailing boats.
Yeah, we actually have some wooden ships that we made.
Right.
Little
Okay.
wooden pieces. But I think the point on doing changing up the movement mechanics radically, while it could certainly work, and I like the idea of kind of a modular weight mechanic that changes as you play. My only concern there is how it affects the complexity of the game, where you're constantly changing your ship's speed from turn to turn. I mean, I wouldn't personally have an issue playing it with it, but I guess we're trying to aim the game more as like kind of like a gateway to the more of the like sandbox genre, and less. I feel like a modular speed mechanic might be might be a little extra for that.
The advantage you have in that is that it's thematic, so it makes sense.
It definitely is thematic. I like it a lot for that reason.
People go, oh yeah, the more shit I've got on my ship, the slower it goes. That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes it obvious. I think it's obvious. There's 2 suggestions I've got as well for movement, which might be other things to think about. First is potentially you could have a wind element. I mean, it's potentially modular, but you might say, okay, well, this turn the wind is a certain, heavy wind or light wind for everybody, and then perhaps in a couple of turns' time, you can see that heavy wind's coming up. So, in a 2 turns,
we actually thought about wind at one point where it would be a spinner, so like a six directional spinner. So whatever direction the wind was pointing, you'd have additional movement in that direction.
Right.
But I can see here you
So
don't even. Yeah, spinner sounds like fun. It's definitely fun, but you've got hexagons and you've got d6s, so the direction of the wind can literally just be decided at the beginning of like every full round of people playing.
Yeah.
Just roll the dice and it's going in that direction, and suddenly your movement's doubled in that one direction.
That to me sounds like an advanced rule variant.
Right. We're considering rolling that out as like an expansion or something like that.
When you're familiar with the game, try it with the weather deck and the wind spinner, and they're just to kind of feel like optional extras.
Would you have 2 ships? Would 2 ships work as well? Potentially juggling up between doing a couple of things, moving things rather than that. I mean, chaotic.
I'm just listening to you guys redesigning this guy's game. I mean, let's feedback on what we've got in front of us instead of trying to reinvent it.
The movement, so I see the thing with the movement. I'm kind of leaning towards that this map layout might just be one that. So this
That's
map
the
layout
first thing to test. That's the easiest thing to test, is just to change up the map, get rid of a lot of the stormy seas, maybe remove a few of the krakens, and then play it and see how it goes.
I'm just wanting to farm a cannon.
Right, because this is a more customized map layout that here, if hopefully let me just pull out a different map layout to show you.
But you've spoken about making it a gateway level experience, and the complexity that you're adding by having modular maps and terrain types and variable setup. That's way more than you have by adding a slightly more complicated but thematic moving system.
This is true.
Yeah, because all I wanted to do was attack
Yeah.
my cannons, and
Yeah.
I spent the whole game. Great, I got some, but I just really wanted to blow up David's or Ian's ships, and I couldn't do it. And we were an hour in, so I just think as long as that movement was resolved, then that would add a fun element because you would have that combat. I wanted to see some combat. It's exciting.
Yeah, normally we see combat pretty early on. So here's another map layout that is different. There's more open seas in the middle. There's still a lot of stormy seas, and that might just be so how. Yeah, one moment. I have our physical prototype right behind me, so I'll show you what the terrain tiles look like.
Oh, you can't hear us, I'm guessing.
So
I was going to
terrain
say,
tile,
Eric, that previous map, all I would have done to free up the movement is to put, I think if you remove 2 or 3 of the stormy seas across the middle, so that you effectively have 2 islands of stormy sea with a channel across the middle of the map, that would have made quite a big difference. It was only 1 or 2 hexes that actually needed to be changed to actually free up that particular map. And I can see with this one immediately, I can pretty much, there's a lot of map I can cover without having to. There's a combination of 2 things. First of all, there's the shipping lanes, which makes sense. But also, if I want to cut between shipping lanes, I've probably only got to cross 1 stormy sea.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with that previous map was the fact
that's right,
Yeah.
and that's where most of our maps. I probably shouldn't have used this map layout for this test. I should have used a different layout, but at least that it gave me good feedback that that map layout was probably just garbage.
Have you seen Concordia? Have you seen Concordia, Eric? Because Concordia has basically the same thing. So what they actually have is areas of the map are designated A, areas of the map are B, areas are C, areas are D. And within A, you will have 1 of each resource. And within B, you'll have 1 of each resource. And so you basically put your A tiles down in the A areas and your B tiles down on the B areas. In the case of Concordia, you then flip them up. But what it means is you can't get all of the metal in 1 space. Because
that's something to look at.
So thanks, Eric, for bringing your game today. We have had, have fun with the game, and then even more fun trying to break it for you. So
this is the best part.
Thanks, Eric. It's a nice looking game. I enjoyed playing through it.
Yeah, I would be very interested to see if you do address some of these things, to then play again. So is this available for just anybody to download and play, or have you got it privately set up at the moment?
It's public build.
Okay, cool. So then if we can see how it is like in a couple of weeks, if you take any of this on board, then I'd be happy to have a go at it again.
What you've mixed up, what you've changed, if anything does get changed, let us know. I'd be curious to see how things have changed with how the seas have changed, should we say?
Absolutely. I'll be glad to let you guys know.
Okay.
Just kick him now.
Right, I better go now.
So thanks very much, Eric. And we'll be keeping an eye on it.
See you later.